Would coaching the leader benefit the whole team? Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Team Coaching Lounge, where leaders and coaches connect and have casual conversations about team coaching and other team related topics.
Hi, I'm Susan,
And I am Claudia.
and we are both accredited team coaches and often work together to co-coach corporate teams. So sit back today and join us for the conversation. So, have you ever wondered how the team leader benefits from a team coaching engagement? I think Claudia has a little story to tell about this.
Yeah, so recently I was talking to a potential client about the challenges this gentleman was having with his team. He was the team leader, and he was kind of not complaining, but he was mentioning that they were unorganized, they lost focus, it took them forever to get the simplest things done, and communication was poor, and the team was having all these challenges. And as we continued to chat, and this was pre-engagement, this was kind of getting to know each other and discussing, whether an engagement would even make sense. I realized that it might be the case that indeed the leadership style or lack of leadership or just in general the choreography, if you wish, between the team leader and the team might indeed be part of the problem. And, he might be filling the gaps instead of addressing the issues. He might not really be taking the time to figure out what causes all these things that he was mentioning. And he was just stuck in the spiral of getting frustrated. And, this is no judgment of my part. It was just a conclusion I got to based on the conversation. And, as we discussed this further, I just mentioned that sometimes, team coaching, the leader as part of the engagement is absolutely quote unquote standard procedure. I mean, it happens very, very often, and you can confirm this, that we do indeed give extra guidance to the team leader as a whole. It's actually something that we really like to do. He really, really welcomed it. And because for him too, it was not easy to find a sounding board to address these things and maybe get a different perspective. So team coaching the leader, and maybe some might think it's kind of a contradiction in terms, but coaching the team leader individually as part of a team coaching engagement is definitely something that is a big consideration when you consider a team coaching engagement. So would you agree with that? What's your thought?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, yes, a lot of coaches, including us, will coach leaders one-on-one without the team. And we'll have a different conversation about how that's different from coaching the leader within the team. But yes, there's a huge, huge benefit to developing the leader skills while in the team coaching engagement. Because
Right.
again, we're looking at it systemically and not just individually.
Right, because it is when we do this, we take the context of this particular team into account. uh,
Yes.
Again, we are coaches, we do not provide advice, but we nevertheless have a more productive questioning and coaching session for this team leader, because we are familiar with the context of the team.
Yes.
Again, this is to the client ultimately, even though we're still dealing with this team leader, the
Mhm.
client in our
Is the
coach's head
team.
is the
The
team. It's the
team.
team, right? So there's it's a subtle nuance, but for us it is so concrete in the day to day, like feet on the ground kind of coaching. It is very clear who the client is.
Yes. Yeah. So you want to talk about some of the benefits? that can happen with the leader?
So I think that ultimately it's the improvement of the leadership skills and the confidence that comes with having really given thought and reflected on different methods that might be available to them, and maybe more ease at experimenting, and truly confidence for me would be one of the things that is quite enriching in that.
Yeah, definitely. That's the biggest thing, which helps in every other area of their leadership. Communication, definitely key. One, and then this also shows an example of the difference between coaching outside the team and inside the team is like your weekly team meetings, right? Often Claudia and I will sit in and observe team meetings, and we'll understand the personalities and some tensions, or whatever is going on there, and we can then help the leader figure out how to make those meetings more effective. Whereas if we were just coaching the leader, we would have no context about what was happening and would just make suggestions about how to make the meeting better, but we would not really understand.
Right.
But in the team, we see it all, so we can suggest, hey, maybe call on this person to bring them out a little more, or maybe pause this person who's always talking all the time, right? Those kind of things.
And interestingly enough, we have actually observed that just the fact that we are there to observe
Mm-hmm.
raises the awareness of the team
Yes.
leader about what he or
Yes.
she does, how the reaction is of the team members, and it adds this extra layer of self-accountability as they engage with their team. And it is indeed a requirement that I even contractually often put into the discovery and diagnostics part
Mm-hmm.
of the engagement, that indeed I am going to, or we are going to
Yes.
observe, 2 or 3 meetings with, but just being a fly on the wall, not
Yep.
engaging, not coaching through it, but just observing to get really a feel for the team. That cannot necessarily be brought out in an interview of the team leader or any of the members, because it might just be something that comes out in the dynamic, and they might not be able to really put in words
Yes.
necessarily and put their finger on. Yeah.
Yeah. And that also gives us some context and a feeling for the level of psychological safety within the team as well, which is also a big benefit to the leader within the team coaching engagement, right? Because we can see who's stepping back, who's stepping forward, who's being aggressive, you know, understanding, really feeling the tensions within the team itself. So we can help there and hopefully suggest, guide, but not give advice of what the leader can do to improve psychological safety. And that's key to it, to the team.
Right. And I think that goes hand in hand with some often, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes more so than others, there's conflict in the team.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes the team leader needs a little bit of an extra help to get back to being objective, and
Yes.
getting back to examining this, maybe also with the help of a team external presence, so that they are able to distance themselves emotionally a little bit from this and look at this conflict situation a little bit more productively. So that is something that again, in the context of the knowledge of the team, uh,
Yeah.
a coaching of the leader as part of the team coaching engagement. We should find a new word for describing this, but
I know it is. It's too
no,
long.
it's too long. It's too long.
Yeah. And we actually had a situation where we were coaching a team and noticed, right, the culture was very kind. Be nice, be kind. So much so that the the managers within this team did not know how to address conflict with their employees, right?
Right.
And so these are the observations that we can bring to the leaders.
Right, because at first glance everything was just nice, everything just worked, but
Yep.
it was all just a facade. There was this thing of I am being nice because if I start venting all the stuff that's going on, it's gonna, everything's gonna explode, and I'm gonna explode. The team leader's gonna explode. So a lot of those kind of things, and sometimes it also takes a coach to say it like it is and
Yes.
to help people get to the point where they become aware of these issues. And again, sometimes just having the presence there is enough to get that ball rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then one of the other questions that we ask as we talk to leaders of the team is, how are you developing your team to be more adaptable, more resilient, right? We're in this crazy VUCA world where everything changes like this all the time. Your teams need to be able to adapt very quickly. And a lot of leaders are so busy just getting their tasks done, getting the team projects done. They're not thinking, 3, 4 years, 5 years down the line of how can we be faster, more resilient.
Mhm.
And so us being objective can ask those kind of questions that make them think about that.
Right, right, right. And actually also part of this long-term outlook, this future proofing also of the
Mhm.
team as a whole, is to how clear is the leader really with the goals and objectives, and how
Yes.
involved is the team in making maybe the corporate strategy really livable and realizable in the
Yes.
everyday. And I think that ability to kind of bridge this corporate mission and all that stuff, and make the team nevertheless understand what it means to them and the work that they do on an everyday basis, that is what is going to increase their engagement. And the leader has this very important and tricky, very often
Yes.
very, very tricky job of making that translation. And
Hmm.
so, sometimes leaders might need a space in a coaching space to really think about that and take this moment to really devote themselves to figuring this out. Because outside of the coaching engagement, they might never get to it because of the busyness and the
Yes.
weight of the everyday pressures. They need this time out. And believe it or not, sometimes we are the only ones who can provide this very, very needed time out for the leader. As
Yep.
team coaching in general provides this time out for reflection and learning and growing that a team needs.
Absolutely. It reminds me of a friend of mine who actually I worked for a long time. When I reached out to him and told him I'd just become a VP, the first thing he said was, "Great, just remember you're always on your own. You're always on your own now once you get to that level." And so, yes, having a coach around will help.
Yeah, I mean the old adage that it is lonely at the top
Hmm.
really holds true, because we have come across a lot of high-level corporate leaders that would need help the most, but are the least able to ask for it or get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
and the coach is somebody who is unconditionally there and available and supportive and challenging where it needs to be. So it's essentially the ultimate sounding board, and that's
Yep.
why very often these relationships that we build with these people are very strong, because they are able to do with us what maybe they cannot do with
With
anybody
anybody else.
else.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And I think one of the biggest benefits for the leaders is because they're working with us as coaches, the team is working with us as coaches. So it starts to create a different environment of, I don't know how to say, openness and discussion, but we can also help bring in that coaching mindset into the team and,
Yeah.
and help them develop, especially the leader, develop some coaching skills that they can use when we're not there anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very big part of that is that they viscerally get the
Yeah.
experience of what it is to be coached, and
Mm-hmm.
they get the first-hand experience of what we do. And
Yes.
that is going to flavor interactions or hopefully desires to learn more. Let's even not say that they're
Yes.
learning directly from us, but maybe the oh, I should maybe look into this. This is powerful stuff.
Yes.
And so very, very important to like open this door into what it means to coach and be
Yep.
coached.
Be
Yeah,
a coach. Yep. And again, the team is really feeling how positive that coaching environment is. And we want them to continue that when we step away from the engagement.
definitely,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely. Because
So,
I think that leaders are, I mean, you need to be blind and deaf. You have heard from, the leader as coach.
yes.
Yet it's this abstract kind of idea to many leaders still. But, experiencing it firsthand, either in individual coaching,
Yep.
leadership coaching, let's say, but more so, I think, as part of a team coaching engagement is
Mm-hmm.
going to open that perspective and make it very concrete and very real about
Yeah.
what it means.
And a little fun fact, I started taking coaching classes specifically around communication while I was managing teams. That was my foray into coaching.
There you go. My goodness, you caught the bug, and it you caught the bug,
Yep.
and it never left. It never left.
Yep. And here I am.
To our benefit, to our benefit. So, have we kind of covered what
I think so.
to mind? Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you found this interesting and some little tidbits on it. If you have any experience to share or any comments regarding what we said, please get in touch. Drop a comment maybe to this video, but otherwise feel free to reach out to us on social media, and you will find our contact information in the description attached to this video.
And let us know if you want to join us for a conversation.
Oh, that would be
Be
fun.
fun. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. The more the merrier. So
Mhm.
thank you so much, Susan. This was great. I had a lot of fun,
Me
and
too.
we will be back very soon with more. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.